Stop vessel. Use dip net to bring small turtles on board to remove gear. Place turtle on tire to help hold in place. Remove fishing gear. If hook barb is exposed, cut hook with bolt cutters and remove all parts of the hook. If hook barb is embedded in flesh, first try to rotate the hook back out by using the long nose pliers. If hook barb is embedded in flesh, but long nose pliers are not effective in removing the hook, then try to use a short-handled de-hooker. Place the de-hooker at 90 degrees to the line with the end of the pigtail facing up. Draw the de-hooker back towards you like a bow and arrow until the loop pulls on the line. Rotate the de-hooker 1/4 turn clockwise. Line should be inside the curl of the de-hooker. Run the de-hooker down the line until it engages the bottom of the hook. Pull the line tight and parallel to the de-hooker, giving 2 to 3 quick twisting thrusts to remove the hook. Keep the line tight so the hook remains inside the curl of the de-hooker until the hook is clear of the turtle. Leave the hook and cut the line as close as possible to the hook if the turtle has swallowed the hook, the hook has penetrated the roof of the mouth, the hook is in the back of the throat, glottis. If turtle is tangled in fishing line, use monofilament line cutters to remove all fishing line from the turtle. Turtle CPR. If turtle is unconscious, appears dead, or inactive, resuscitate the turtle, repeating the following steps. First, moving front flippers in full range of motion 7 times. Folding front flippers under body and pushing joints of flippers into body cavity 7 times with firm thrusts. Then, repeat the entire cycle a few times to try to resuscitate the turtle. If turtle is still unconscious, keep the turtle's rear flippers elevated 6 inches 15 centimeters to let water drain from the lungs. Give turtle at least 4 hours to recover as required in regulations, or up to 24 hours if possible. Turtles are often in shock and may appear dead, but often they can still recover. Carefully release the turtle. Once the turtle is alive and active, put the engine in neutral and release the turtle. Record interaction in logbook. Stop vessel. Remove branch line snap from main line and gently pull branch line until large turtle is close to rail. Gently pull on branch line to bring the turtle to the side of the vessel. Assess situation and determine what tools are needed to release and remove as much gear off turtle as possible. If turtle is tangled with line, secure tangle with long-handled gaff, taking care not to poke animal. Allow NOAA observer to use their long-handled tool to acquire DNA sample. If hooked, use the long-handled de-hooker. Pull line into the de-hooker loop, rotate 45 degrees, and slide de-hooker down to the hook shank. If hooked, use the long-handled de-hooker. Secure hook if possible visible, and twist and push hook to release hook away from the flesh of the animal. If hook fails to release after 2 or 3 attempts, use long-handled line cutter to cut line as close as possible to hook. If hook is swallowed, use the long-handled line cutter to cut line as close to mouth as possible. If hooked and entangled, hold turtle in place and grasp tangled line using the long-handled gaff. If you can see the hook, try to de-hook using the long-handled de-hooker. Cut the remaining line using the long-handled line cutter. If possible, try to get all gear, including hook, back into the vessel. If the turtle is tangled in line using the long-handled line cutter, first cut line as close to the mouth as possible, if swallowed. Cut line wrapped around flippers and neck. Cut the remaining gear off the body last. Release turtle with no gear attached. Record the interaction in your logbook. Record species. Describe if any gear is still remaining on the turtle. 3 species of sharks that are sometimes encountered in Pacific longline fisheries are either endangered or protected: the oceanic white-tip shark, the scalloped hammerhead shark, and the silky shark. Extra handling care should be followed whenever possible to ensure their safe release and survival. Regulations require fishermen to safely release oceanic whitetip and silky sharks. Stop the vessel and bring the shark alongside the vessel. Leave the shark in the water and do not bring the shark on deck. Shark survival is much higher when left in the water. If you have a large shark, consider attaching a flyback prevention device to the branch line to reduce the risk of lead or hook flyback accident. If the shark is hooked, use a long-handled de-hooker to remove the hook from the shark whenever possible. For monoleader, cut with the long-handled line cutter. Cut below the lead as close to the hook as possible. If the shark is entangled, use a long-handled line cutter to remove the line wrapped around the body. Cut below the lead and remove the hook using the long-handled de-hooking tool when possible. Record the interaction in your logbook. Record the shark species and that you released it. Stop vessel. Bring the giant manta ray alongside the vessel if possible. Always leave the animal submerged in the water so that its chance of post-release survival will be much higher. If the animal is not entangled and can be brought close to the boat, consider attaching a flyback prevention device to the branch line to reduce the risk of lead or hook flyback accident. To help ensure that the animal is released quickly and to minimize injuries, use only long-handled tools to remove the branch line trailing gear. When trying to remove the branch line trailing gear, avoid touching the gills or cephalic lobes with the long-handled tools. If a giant manta ray is hooked, for monoleader, cut with a long-handled line cutter. Cut as close as possible to the hook. If the giant manta ray has swallowed the hook, cut the leader as close to the mouth as possible. If the giant manta ray is entangled, secure any excess tangled line with a long-handled gaff, while another crew member uses a long-handled line cutter to remove as much tangled monofilament line as possible. Make sure that you don't accidentally poke the animal with the long-handled tools. Record the interaction in your logbook under protected species as giant manta ray, along with the specified release conditions. Keep in mind that the giant manta ray has a terminal mouth, which is visible at the very front of the animal. Other large ray species have mouths that are central, or farther back and underneath the front of the animal. Notify captain and deck boss as soon as a marine animal is seen on the line. If captain is not on deck, immediately alert captain inside the wheelhouse. Stop vessel. Assess status of marine mammal. Quickly assess the situation to make sure the marine mammal has not swallowed the hook. If not, you might be able to straighten the hook and reduce further injury to the animal. Make sure the observer has an opportunity to identify the correct species. If the animal is fighting the line, slide a flyback prevention device down the branch line to reduce lead flyback risk. Tie off one end of the fighting line to vessel rail cleat so line can be recovered. Remove branch line from the main line. Tie the other end of the fighting line through the snap of the branch line and quickly attach it to the fighting line. Use dynamic tension to try to straighten the hook. One way is to pull on the fighting line or use the mainline drum. Use mainline drum to straighten hook. If needed, remove branch line and fighting line from cleat and attach to mainline spool, gently using drum hydraulics to assist with hook straightening or to help get the animal close to the rail. Do not spend more time than necessary to straighten the hook to avoid further stress or injury to the animal. If the hook is not straightened after a few minutes, or if you determine at any point that the marine animal has swallowed the hook, move on to the next step. If hook will not straighten, or if the marine mammal has swallowed the hook, bring the marine mammal close to the vessel and cut the line as close to the hook or mouth as possible. Use long-handled line cutter if using monoleader, and cut leader below the lead as close to hook as safely possible. Record the interaction in your logbook. Record species. Describe if any gear is still remaining on the animal. Complete marine mammal reporting form. Captains must always fill out a marine mammal mortality injury reporting form.
Seabirds may attempt to take bait or catch and occasionally get hooked or entangled while fishermen set and haul longline fishing gear. Most of the seabirds caught in the Hawaii longline fishery are Laysan albatross and black-footed albatross. Short-tailed albatrosses are rarely seen or caught in the Hawaii longline fisheries. What to do if you catch a seabird? First, stop the vessel to reduce tension on the line. Wear gloves, safety glasses, and arm covers for personal safety while handling seabirds. Next, bring the bird on board the vessel using a dip net. Check if you've caught a short-tailed albatross. Short-tailed albatrosses have a bright pink bill with a black vertical line. These birds require special handling procedures, which are described later. If the seabird is not a short-tailed albatross, proceed with the following steps. Hold the bird by the bill without covering its nostrils. Fold the wings into the bird's body. Straddle the bird if necessary. Cover the bird with a towel to calm it and protect its feathers. Remove any entangled lines from the bird. To dehook a wing, stretch the bird's wing out and pull its head forward. To dehook a beak, open the beak with 2 hands and place a gloved finger between it. During a foot dehooking, cover the bird's head with a towel or straddle the bird's head. If you can handle the hook but can't see the barb, push the hook through the skin to expose the barb. Use pliers to flatten the barb or bolt cutters to cut off the barb. Back the hook out. If you can't handle the hook, it's deeply ingested, cut as much line off as possible and leave the hook in the bird. If you caught a bird and removed the hook, the bird may not be ready for immediate release. Leave the bird in a safe enclosed space to recover. Release the bird on the sea surface only if its feathers are dry, it's alert with its head erect, it breathes without making noise, its wings can flap and retract, and it stands on both feet with toes forward. Release seabirds by placing them on the sea surface after they've recovered. For short-tailed albatrosses, follow the steps described previously up until the line removal. If the bird is alive, place it in a safe enclosed space and don't give it food or water. Immediately contact NOAA Fisheries, the Fish and Wildlife Service, or the Coast Guard to request veterinary guidance. Keep the bird in a safe enclosed space and follow veterinary guidance for its handling and release. If you receive no guidance within 24 to 48 hours and the bird is externally hooked, remove the hooks by following the previously described dehooking guidelines. Release the bird on the sea surface only after it meets the previously described release criteria. If you can't handle the hook and or the bird doesn't recover as described previously, cut the line as close as possible to the ingested hook. Submit the bird to NOAA Fisheries immediately upon returning to port. Complete the short-tailed albatross recovery data form after you've released a live bird or if you have a dead bird. Freeze dead birds with an ID tag attached that lists the species, location and date of mortality, and band number if applicable. Place the bird in a bag or container and contact NOAA Fisheries, Fish and Wildlife Service, or the Coast Guard.